Hello everybody, welcome to yet another video. This is another TFNation video, or TFNation related. Now, like I say, I have quite a few videos I want to try and get out before TFNation, and pretty much within good time, if that makes sense. So today I'm actually responding to Rudy, who is a fairly new YouTuber, Transformers toy collector, and he's going to TFNation this year. I think it's possibly his first TFNation. I could be wrong. He has mentioned in this video that he has been to previous Auto Assembly in the past. But anyway, I'm looking forward to meeting him at TFNation. He seems a really nice guy, and he's been gracious enough to respond to my TFNation question videos, both of them, which is fantastic, and thank you very much for that. And also Tony and a few other people he's responded to. So I felt within myself that it was only fair. Rudy went and made some of his own questions, free in fact, free questions of his own that are fairly decent. You know, there's something, you know, again, the questions that I haven't really answered that much, or haven't seen anyone else really mention, and that's the whole approach I was going with. I'm liking that people are being a bit more imaginative when it comes to their questions relating, because it is difficult, you know, it's a difficult thing to come up with stuff that hasn't been really said before. But yeah, I mean, I'm really, these are pretty good questions anyway. So let's get to it. So I've written them down. And number one is around the lines of, what was your favourite unexpected Auto Assembly / TFNation purchase? Now, this is a very kind of an hard one for me to really mention or answer, because I can't really remember everything I bought. That's the problem. Especially way back into Auto Assembly, because a lot of the stuff that I bought I don't have anymore. I didn't really appreciate what I bought, so I kind of learnt my lesson in the hard way, where, you know, I try to, if I do buy something, I make sure it's something I generally want to keep, and I really do like. So for this question, Rudy actually mentioned about the Bumblebee and Me book, and for this one, I'm gonna have to kind of share his answer to that, because that was something that I wasn't aware of. Obviously, the Bumblebee and Me book that Dan Gilvezan did way back when it was Auto Assembly. He did this really great book, and he mentioned it during his voice acting, his panel, talking about voice acting and stuff like that. And I kind of thought to myself, okay. This sounds interesting, and plus, when he was in his panel, he spoke about certain stories about, like, Frank Welker and doing these, like, funny pranks in, you know, kind of getting kind of like doing these, like, technical noises over the microphone, and you could see the engineer guy and the director in the other room kind of like looking around, wondering what the hell's going wrong. So there are all these really funny stories that he's took from the book, and I got the book and I've read it, and it's a brilliant book. So I will have to share, for that question, I have to share Rudy's choice, because that was a bit of a surprise to me. I was unaware he even had a book out, and obviously as soon as he mentioned it, I went and bought one, and obviously met him, and I got it signed. Number two, did attending a convention change your views on anything? Well, I think the main thing is generally going to conventions changed my opinion on things, because previously to going to Auto Assembly and TFNation, which was obviously, I started going to conventions way back in 2010, and before that I didn't even know there was a Transformers convention. I actually found out via my good friend Sammy, Skullgun140, here on YouTube. he actually graciously kind of filled me in on kind of like the bare basics of auto assembly, and I discovered it way back in 2009. But by the time I discovered it, I was too late to book tickets because obviously they closed these sales. So I thought, okay, well, I'll see about me and my good friend Sam that I always travel up with. I said, okay, why don't we see about doing it as a thing for next year, 2010? So we did. So we went in 2010, and that was that. So I would say for that question, did attending a convention change your views on anything? I think generally attending a convention for the first time changed my views on how I see conventions. And pretty much kind of because me and Sam obviously we've been our very first ever convention. It was the first time me and him actually really travelled outside of Hull for anything like this together. So we were quite nervous. We didn't really know what to expect, and literally walking into that bar for the first time when it was at the Holiday Inn, not the Hilton, when it was at the Holiday Inn in the centre of Birmingham, when it was there, and just seeing all these familiar faces that I've only seen on a computer monitor on YouTube, and seeing them before my very eyes, and all of them knowing my name, it was a very interesting but yet fantastic experience that really did change my opinion on conventions. And ever since, I've been going ever since. I've been to all the auto assembly. Well, I've been to every auto assembly, but I've been to every auto assembly since 2010. And then obviously that when auto assembly finished, and then TFNation, which is a whole new thing, whole new beast. So I would have to say that it's maybe not really what the question was asking, but that's all I can really think that changed. That's yeah. So number 3, is there anything you wish you did differently in regards to going to conventions and that? It's kind of a similar question to what I'm asked, really, a little bit similar. Oh no, it might not be what I asked. It might have been what somebody else maybe asked. Because obviously, my mind's elsewhere at the moment. I will just read that question again. Get it in my head. Is there anything you wish you did differently? I think for me, what I wish I did differently would be. I think what I wish I did differently is that, like, way back in 2010, I kind of wish that I didn't. There was a figure that I bought that kind of gave me a bit of a wrong impression of that you got to be really careful and use your head. It was kind of a harsh lesson learned kind of thing. Basically, back in 2010, like I said, I was, a bit wet behind the ears, so to speak. First time going to convention, and I was incredibly overwhelmed by the dealer room, which happens to everybody. Once or twice, or still happens to some people. But anyway, so 2010, obviously they had the main dealer room, but then outside the dealer room, as you walk through the first doors, because it was like 2 sets of doors, so there was kind of like this like middle bit between walking in. There was this like beginning bit first, which had like a bar at one end, and then you carried on going, and then it was you carried on going, and then it was actually the main dealer room and where everything was. And outside this beginning bit, before you went into the main dealer room, there was other people other people that had stalls. So there was like extra stalls, and also kind of like people selling T-shirts and other little toy stalls. And that year, my mate Tony and Nick, they were selling. They were doing a table together that year. And I walked up to them and I saw a Masterpiece Optimus Prime. And I asked how much it was, and I can't remember how much I paid now, but it wasn't. It was actually a fairly okay price. It wasn't ridiculously expensive, and it was. I didn't realise at the time, because obviously it was the first purchase I made at the convention, and it was all there, complete, had all his parts, but I didn't realise it was one of the original old Hasbro releases. And I'll get to the point there pretty much in a moment. So I bought it, gave the money over, and I thought, oh great, I got a Masterpiece Optimus Prime. Very happy. I put it in my bag. It was loose. It wasn't in a box or anything. And I put it in my bag and went into the dealer room. And then when I went back to my hotel room, I noticed his leg was off, and I thought, oh, it's no problem. It's probably just I maybe knocked it and it's just come out. I'll put it back in. It wouldn't go in. The leg joint completely sheared off inside. And I was not told about this when I first bought it. I wasn't told it was broken. So this was obviously, the figure was obviously broken before I even bought it, but I didn't notice. And, well, it just literally snapped. There was no force given. I didn't bang it. I didn't hit it against anything. It just literally come apart and broke apart as soon as I pretty much bought it and put it in my bag. I tried to fix it. I tried to fix it when I got back, but it kind of made me think, oh, I feel a bit gullible now. I feel like I've been taken for a bit of a fool, kind of thing, and taken advantage of for the first purchase. I don't really blame them for it specifically. It might have just been a figure that there was maybe given from somebody else that they didn't realise was maybe defective, and it just broke. But like I say, I tried to get my money back, but I think I tried to get my money back, or my mate Tony actually tried to have a word with Nick. I can't really remember if anything happened with that. But anyway, so yeah, that was a thing that I kind of regret. I kind of feel I should have kind of just took my time, looked around, and just not bought it. And I think I might have been on a better mindset then. So that was a bit of a little mistake. And also there is something else that I did that I wish I did differently. Is I kind of mentioned this before. This was an answer that I gave to Dave and Emily, or Smizzy and the Forge Circuit. And pretty much I said that I met Greg Berger back in 2011, and because it was my second convention, and I was really nervous meeting Greg Berger, and I stupidly did the big mistake that most people do at conventions. I put in front of him way too much stuff to get signed, and it kind of made a bit of an awkward situation of things, and I kind of wish I did that differently. I wish I kind of used my head a little bit, used my initiative a little bit more, and maybe just not maybe have gone about it more differently, like, just have a couple of things to get signed rather than crap loads of stuff. I literally had to queue about 3 times in total to actually get majority of nearly all of it signed, and I just felt a bit awkward, really. It wasn't my intent to annoy people that was actually waiting in the queue and make an awkward situation between me and Greg, but like I say, it was a mistake. I was gullible. I was, wet behind the ears still in my second convention, and I was really, really nervous and panicking because I was meeting one of my idols, and yeah, I just wish I kind of kept my cool in that situation and did that a bit differently. So there's some ideas. So there's my answers to his 3 questions. So big thank you to Rudy. I can't wait to meet you. I can't even remember if I've met you in the past, because you mentioned Auto Assembly 2013. I was there in 2013, but like I say, I can't remember everybody I met. I may have met you before, but if not, we will hopefully shake hands or do the man hug thing like we all seem to do. You know, the whole man hug thing. Oh god. But yeah, I really can't wait now. So thank you very much. This is my response to Rudy's questions. I will be back very soon with I will be making more videos. I want to do one more of my own TFNation questions. I will hopefully do that within the next couple of days. And then I want to obviously get another Transformers review out. And also, I want to respond to Tony's questions as well, because I think Tony's done some questions of his own as well. So, yeah, so anyway, we'll see how things go. I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself, because I sometimes do that to myself. But anyway, so see you all soon. Thank you.